What if eating less is the exact reason you can't lose fat? The biggest mistake petite women make, trying to shrink their body instead of building it. If you're a petite woman trying to lose fat, there's a high chance you felt frustrated, confused, and maybe even defeated at some point. You followed the meal plans, tried the workouts, counted your calories, and still nothing seems to change. Meanwhile, your taller friends seem to eat freely and somehow lose weight effortlessly. It feels unfair. It feels like your body is working against you. But here's the truth. There is nothing wrong with your body. The real problem is that most fitness advice was never designed for you in the first place. For women who are 5 feet 4 and under, your body operates under a completely different set of rules. Your calorie needs are lower, your margin for error is smaller, and your metabolism responds differently to diet and exercise. When you follow generic advice made for taller women, it doesn't just slow your progress, it can completely stall it. That's why understanding the unique challenges of a petite body is the first step toward real, lasting results. One of the biggest realities that no one talks about is your baseline metabolism. As a petite woman with little muscle mass, your maintenance calories can be surprisingly low, sometimes around 1,100 to 1,300 calories per day. That's roughly the same as what a small child needs just to function. It's shocking, and for many women it explains years of frustration. You may have been eating what you thought was healthy or even low, but for your body, it might already be close to maintenance. That leaves almost no room to create a calorie deficit without pushing yourself into extreme restriction. This leads to the first major mistake, trying to restrict your way to fat loss. Many petite women believe that eating less is the solution. They cut calories lower and lower, hoping to finally see progress. But the truth is, you cannot build a strong, lean body on starvation-level calories. Your body needs energy to function, to recover, and most importantly, to build muscle. Without enough fuel, your metabolism slows down, your body holds onto fat, and you end up feeling tired, hungry, and stuck. Instead of constantly cutting calories, the smarter approach is to focus on building your metabolism first. This means eating at or slightly above your maintenance level while incorporating strength training. It may feel counterintuitive at first eating more to lose fat, but this phase allows your body to recover from restriction, build lean muscle, and increase your metabolic rate. Over time, this creates a stronger foundation that makes fat loss not only possible but sustainable. Another thing that often gets overlooked is the quality of your protein intake. You've probably heard that eating more protein helps with fat loss, and that's true. But for petites, the type of protein matters just as much as the amount. Foods that are high in fat, like salmon or ribeye steak, may be nutritious, but they also use up a large portion of your daily calorie budget. When your total calories are limited, these choices can make it harder to balance your intake of fats and carbohydrates. That's why lean protein sources are often more effective. Foods like chicken breast, egg whites, low-fat Greek yogurt, and fish provide more protein with fewer calories and less fat. This allows you to hit your protein goals while still having enough calories left for carbs and healthy fats, both of which are essential for energy and performance. Speaking of calories, another critical point is that your calorie deficit needs to be much smaller than what most people recommend. Standard advice often suggests cutting 500 calories per day, but for a petite woman that can be extreme. If your maintenance is around 1,200 calories, a 500-calorie deficit would leave you eating just 700 calories a day. That's not a diet, it's starvation. And it can severely damage your metabolism over time. A more effective approach is to create a small controlled deficit of around 150 to 200 calories. This may seem slow, but it protects your muscle mass, keeps your metabolism stable, and allows you to lose fat without feeling deprived. It's a long-term strategy, but one that actually works. Now let's talk about exercise, because this is where many petites unknowingly sabotage their results. The instinct for most people trying to lose fat is to do more cardio. Running, cycling, high-intensity workouts, it feels productive. But excessive cardio can actually work against you. It burns calories in the short term, but it can also break down muscle, increase hunger, and raise stress hormones like cortisol. For petite women, this often leads to a skinny fat look where you may lose weight but still appear soft and lacking definition. The real solution is strength training. Lifting weights helps you build muscle, and every pound of muscle you gain slightly increases your resting metabolism. Over time, this makes a huge difference, especially when your calorie budget is already small. Another concept that's incredibly important is something called non-exercise activity, or daily movement. This includes things like walking, standing, and general movement throughout the day. For petites, this can be more effective than intense workouts. Walking regularly, aiming for around 7,000 to 10,000 steps per day, helps burn calories without stressing your body or increasing hunger. One of the most frustrating aspects of this journey is the scale. Many women rely on it as their main measure of progress, but for petites, it can be incredibly misleading. When you start building muscle and losing fat at the same time, your weight may not change much. In fact, it might even increase slightly. But your body composition is improving. You're becoming leaner, stronger, and more toned. This is why it's important to focus on other indicators like how your clothes fit, how you look in the mirror, and how you feel overall. These are often far more accurate reflections of progress than a number on the scale. One of the most frustrating things petite women are rarely warned about is the lasting effect of past dieting. If you've spent years eating too little, skipping meals, jumping from one restrictive plan to another, or constantly trying to survive on the lowest calories possible, your body may have adapted. And when your body adapts, your metabolism often slows down to protect you. That means fat loss becomes harder, not because you are lazy or undisciplined, but because your body has learned to become more efficient with less food. This is where so many petite women get stuck. They assume the answer is to cut calories even lower, add more cardio, and push harder. But that usually makes the problem worse. Instead of seeing progress, they feel exhausted, hungry, moody, and discouraged. Their body holds on tighter and they start believing something is wrong with them. But this isn't failure, it's simply a sign that your body needs support before it can change again. Sometimes before you can lose fat, you need to rebuild. That rebuilding phase is incredibly important. It means giving your body enough food, enough protein, and enough recovery to feel safe again. It means stepping away from panic dieting and focusing instead on strength, consistency, and nourishment. This part can feel slow, especially if you're used to chasing quick results, but it is often the exact step that creates long-term success. What makes this even more encouraging is that you may not always need a calorie deficit to improve your body composition. In some cases, petite women can actually lose fat and build muscle at the same time through something called body recomposition. This happens when you eat around maintenance calories, get enough protein, and train consistently with resistance exercises. Instead of starving yourself smaller, you strengthen your body into a leaner shape. Body recomposition is not flashy. It does not usually create dramatic scale drops overnight, but it is one of the most effective and sustainable strategies for petites because it works with your body instead of against it. You may weigh the same, but your waist gets smaller, your muscles become more defined, and your body starts to look tighter and stronger. That is real progress, even if the scale doesn't reward you for it right away. When it comes to training, full-body workouts are often the most efficient choice for petite women. Rather than splitting your workouts into separate days for legs, arms, or back, full-body training allows you to stimulate all the major muscle groups in fewer sessions. This gives you more value from each workout and creates a stronger overall metabolic effect. In simple terms, your body works harder, uses more energy, and builds more lean muscle over time. For petites, this matters a lot since your calorie budget is smaller. You need workouts that are efficient and productive. Full-body sessions a few times a week can do exactly that. They help you build strength, improve shape, and support a healthier metabolism without requiring hours in the gym every day. Perhaps the most important truth in all of this is that generic plans simply do not work well for petite women. Most fitness advice is designed for average or taller bodies with more calories to work with and more room for error.
But your body is different, your metabolism is different, your needs are different. And when you follow plans that ignore those differences, you end up frustrated and blaming yourself for results that were never realistic in the first place.
The truth is, you do not have a willpower problem. You do not have a discipline problem. You've been given the wrong blueprint, and once you understand that, everything starts to shift. Instead of trying to shrink yourself smaller and smaller, you begin to focus on building strength, building muscle, and building a metabolism that supports your life. Your body is not broken, it is simply unique. And when you start working with it instead of fighting it, you open the door to real change. You can eat more, feel stronger, and finally create the lean, toned physique you've been chasing. So now the question becomes, are you going to keep trying to survive on as little food as possible, or are you ready to build a body that actually works for you? Because the moment you choose to build instead of just restrict, everything begins to change. If this helped you understand your body better, make sure to subscribe for more.